All right, so we are talking about health. We are bringing in experts from around the valley to talk about how people can get information about becoming healthier in all kinds of different aspects. So, in studio today, we have Laura from Mega Bar in it's Canfield or Poland, Poland.
It's Poland, yeah.
Okay.
And I have a second location in Cleveland as well.
Okay, awesome. So let's talk about from a physical standpoint. You see a lot of people on the pursuit of health. So, in generally speaking, what information, if you take somebody who's maybe not pursuing it at all, what angle they should or why they should take it?
Yeah, it really comes down to they need to find their why. It's not easy for people to start a fitness routine or to even just explore that world if they've never done it before. So what is their reasoning? Is it just to lose weight because they don't like how they look in their clothes? Is it a health reason? Did their doctor diagnose them with something that scares them? Is it a mental reason that they need the stress relief and they need the endorphin boost that exercise can give you? So there could be a whole laundry list of those type of things, but they need to know, and us as professionals need to help figure that out for them if they don't know what is their why. Some people, it's just the community aspect, just having a place to go where you're with like-minded people and they don't really have any specific goals about losing weight or getting, more toned. It could just be they like to be with other people and maybe their kids are little and they're not really working and it's just a place where they feel, where they feel they have a community. So it could be all those different things, but really finding your why before you just jump into something to see if, especially in the Youngstown area, we have a lot of great fitness offerings, anything from big box gyms to smaller boutique studios like mine. You got to figure out what's going to fit best for your why, and
so
what can help support that.
And I can imagine if someone has like a health scare, it might be a big enough shakeup to push them into pursuing something. But what are you seeing when people are coming to you? What's the general why, the big why that people come?
Anymore, it's mental. It's the stress relief. It's they just feel better about themselves after mentally, more so than physically. I do see that has shifted since we're coming out of COVID, and I think people are a lot more mentally unhealthy than physically, but there's still the physical aspect of it too. And they're just, maybe they're hitting, especially in my population is more women, they're hitting menopause and they're not liking how their body is feeling and looking anymore. Maybe they just want to feel good about themselves. They want to just accomplish something that they wouldn't otherwise do on their own. So I do think more so now it's less about the aesthetics, the look of what fitness can do for your body, and more it's for your mental health mostly. You feel accomplished, you feel successful, a good sweat gets the endorphin, the feel good feelings released, the hormones released in your brain. It's really a really great, effect that it could bring. But you have to show up. You have to do the work. That just doesn't come in a pill, and I think that's one of the biggest battles we have as a fitness professional is really getting through to people that you do have to do the work, and it takes consistency and it doesn't come overnight. So, if they're coming in and they're already there with one foot in the door, it's a lot easier of a process to get them, on a routine and keep them accountable to themselves. But if they're not sure, only they can do that.
Right. And you notice, or you mentioned the pill, and I think we are really, binary, like I'm going to fix my problem with this pill so I don't have to do X, Y, Z over here. Now, at the beginning of the year in January, everybody gets their gym membership signups and we lose everybody by February. So what are we doing most wrong that we can't keep people engaged in their own health?
Pills don't fix anything or everything. I mean, certainly medication has a role, and there's certain people that really just can't get out of that mindset that, look at Ozempic and what that's doing to the weight loss industry right now. I'm also a dietitian, so the nutrition side of it is really, really important to me, that we're not buying into the quick fixes and the unsustainable lifestyles, unsustainable diets, unsustainable fitness routines that people can't stick with for more than a month. My biggest accomplishment having a fitness studio now for over 10 years is I have a lot of the same people that have been with me from day one. That goes to show a lot for not only their dedication to making this part of their lifestyle, but it makes me proud of the atmosphere we foster, that because we grew with them, and we keep changing things up so that it doesn't become a monotonous, like less exciting experience for them. But yeah, it doesn't help that we live in a world where doctors are prescribing a lot without finding the reason why. If there's high blood pressure, why? If there's cholesterol issues, why? High triglycerides, you just had a quadruple bypass surgery, why? And unfortunately, we don't have enough time, and a lot of these medical professionals are rushed, and people think, okay, I'm just going to go and get this fixed. And it's just not a simple fix. It's a whole lifestyle mindset that you have to get in to really make the change. And it's a lot of work. Like I said, it's not easy. I also think with the new year and people kind of being like, okay, this is it, I'm starting on January 1st. When they buy into those quick things, 6 weeks and you're going to have this result, a lot of people put that kind of stuff out there, and it's a marketing tactic and it works, but a lot of the things that I see some people doing are really not sustainable. Again, puts people at risk for injury, puts people at risk for a lot of unsustainable habits. Then as soon as they stop, they're right back at square one. And that does nothing for the client. It does nothing for our community.
So let's take two hypotheticals here. Let's take a sedentary person that does a lot of watching TV, doesn't move around a whole lot, goes to work and then chills in front of the television for. Now they're probably not going to join the gym tomorrow, but if they're listening to this right now and you make a recommendation of what they can start doing to maybe get started, get moving a little bit, what's the best physical thing that they can do to get going?
It's anything that moves your body. I mean, anything. I mean, I kind of have a rule of thumb when I'm working one-on-one with people is you break a sweat every day. Just break a sweat. It doesn't need to be for an hour. It doesn't need to be this whole big, thing. It's just break a sweat and earn your shower at night. Earn your shower.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And it could be as simple as just when you're doing the laundry up and down the stairs, make it extra heavy for yourself and walk briskly. Don't just mosey around the house when you're doing things. It's everyday life. It's everyday activities. It's mopping the floor. Get down on your hands and knees and do it with vigor. It's taking that far parking spot.
Boom. I like that.
It's just those little things, and you're sneaking activity into your day. If that's what you have to do to get started, that's where you start. And then ideally, and most times they like how they feel. I mean, just getting your blood pumping is enough of a reason for people to say, you know what, this feels good. I think I want more. Then maybe it's more of a dedicated walk every day, taking the dogs for a walk, or, meeting a friend and just kind of getting a routine set. I think accountability with somebody else also helps when they're really not used to doing that kind of thing. So meeting with a friend at the park every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, simple as that. You can kind of kill two birds with one stone. You have a little camaraderie, community, friendship time, plus why not just walk at the same time? Same thing where it's like going out to dinner with you're out to dinner, you're going out for drinks. Well, do something with it. Like, why don't you change it up? Our society is just so used to their ways and so set in their ways. So it's hard. It's a hard mindset switch to make that happen. But anything you can move your body is going to count. And eventually you start working towards, I work with people that can't even walk a mile, you know, to working them up to running a 5K. That's a huge accomplishment.
Heck yeah.
You know, and it's hard for them to do, but setting those little goals, you're like, we're ready to do a race. Go online and find something that you can do in 3 months, and we're doing it. You know, so it doesn't have to be, you know, a dedicated fitness place or a program. I mean, it could be as simple as that. And then they feel how they feel. They feel better. They feel more accomplished. It's those little things. Those are like the baby steps that add up into hopefully getting them into keeping this going. This is my lifestyle now.
So my son and I started playing Pokemon Go. You walk around with your phone and catch Pokemon. Mm-hmm. In 1 week, we walked 42 miles. Like, if you would have asked me how far, I would have been like, I don't know, a mile maybe. So it's amazing, like, when you're not focused on like making the exercise, if you can kind of distract yourself from doing something else, you can really put miles underneath your shoes.
Totally. And I think that's why, like, finding your why, finding a way to make it enjoyable for yourself. So something like that is a great example. You know, it doesn't feel like work when you enjoy going. You enjoy the people that you're going to see there. You enjoy, you know, for me, music is a big thing. I mean, if I go into a class, and I like group fitness, that's my thing. If I go into a class and the instructor's playing music I'm not into,
checking out.
I'm like not there. Right. Yeah, it's got a vibe in all the ways that turn me on. Does that make sense? Absolutely. So, but same thing with the walking. A good example, like I was in New York over the summer, and my husband doesn't pay attention to his steps, you know, and we were with our friend who is got to get her 10,000 steps in every day. And it's just a personal thing that she does, and she watches it. And at one point in New York is a lot of walking. Mm-hmm. And at one point she's like, I'm at 22,000 steps or something crazy like that. And he was like, huh? Like, how do you track that? You know, had no clue, not very much a techie person. So she showed him the app on the phone, and he was like, oh my God, like, that's crazy. That's this many miles and whatever. And for me, you know, and obviously, like, I wish he was more thoughtful that way all the time, but it just turned a light bulb onto him, where as soon as we got back from that trip, he's at the end of the night, like, when it's time to Netflix and chill, he's like, I'm going to go for a walk because I didn't get my steps in today. And I'm like, okay, go for it. You know, and I think those are the things that it takes. So maybe it's a friendly competition with people, you know, through the apps. There's so many fun things you can do with that. It's just, you have to figure out what's going to turn you on so that it can be part of your lifestyle at that point.
Yeah. And if you're listening to this, don't dismiss that. There are times when I'm within 500 steps of hitting my 10,000, and I will go on a walk specifically to make that go over the 10,000. It's such a self-competitive thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're not a competitive person, then you have to know that. So then again, it's finding what it is for you. So if you're the type that, you know, you've tried this before and it just didn't stick, well, that wasn't for you then. So you have to be open to exploring. Like I said, there's so many things in this area that you could do. You got to try them all out. See what really works for you, that you're like, you know what, I can do this. This doesn't hurt my body. I enjoy going. I feel good when I'm done. I like the people I'm with. You know, all those things. It's not just about what it is. It's everything else. Because if it doesn't feel right to you, it's just never going to last.
Yeah. And there's different, like, sports even that are at different levels. What's that one game that's sort of like tennis, but it's a slower pace, it's a squishier ball?
Yeah.
Can't think of it. But there's a lot of people in the older age groups that you maybe not be able to keep up with the pace of tennis.
Mm-hmm.
But
pickleball.
Pickleball, yes, absolutely.
I know. We just started playing it with my neighbors too. Yeah, it's like something like that. You're just moving your body. I mean, it's any of those things, you know. If you enjoyed basketball as a kid, you know, get back into it. Find a league where you can meet Thursday nights and at an old high school gym and just move your body. It's just, but then it has to become routine. It has to be something you can stick with. It's not just going like all day, every day, or, you know, where it's not sustainable. It's got to work. It's got to work for your lifestyle. It's got to be something that you can commit to on a regular basis, and it should be enjoyable.
Yeah, and I think humans are a little impulsive that way when they decide something they want to go gangbuster, and it's not, like you said, sustainable. I prefer something, something that I know that I could do forever,
Yeah.
And so that brings us to our second hypothetical. The person that isn't necessarily just apathetic. They are maxed out on their schedule, and they just really struggle to find time slots to do something good in health. And so what's your suggestion on density? Something that you can do that's good, but also doesn't take a whole lot of time.
You got to get creative, and there's sacrifices that sometimes have to be made.
Yep.
And that's just life,
And I bet you in that schedule, there's some wasted time in there somewhere.
100%. 100%. It's, and I hate to sound brash, but I've heard every excuse. Every excuse. At some point, I'm just like, listen, if you don't put yourself as a priority, like, I can't do that for you. Mm-hmm. You have to put yourself first. I say this all the time, like a broken record. You have to fill your cup first. I know you're a busy mom. You have busy kids. You have a really important career. I know. Everybody does. But there's sacrifices that have to be made sometimes. I mean, I see people in my studio 5:30 in the morning. That's what they have to do. They don't want to get up early, but they can't make it work any other time. So they do that.
Yeah. And if you compare that if your health starts to suffer, those jobs and those other things you're doing are going to suffer along with it.
100%.
So either you put it ahead of time or after the fact.
100%. And it's, okay, I'm in the era of my kids are, 12, 10, and 8, and evenings are running from one activity to the next, sitting at games, picking up, dropping off, da-da-da-da. It's not fun. I know it's not easy. We all, those of us in that age range right now, it's not easy. But sometimes you miss a game. It's not the end of the world, And I know that sounds like you're not a good parent if you don't go to every game, but sometimes you have to miss a game. And you got to put yourself first. Maybe you show up late, but you still got your exercise in, even if it's 15 minutes. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a full hour even. Get something in, 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, 5 even. It adds up. So you just have to get creative, and you have to just think, if you aren't putting yourself first, just like you said, everything else does suffer, whether or not you realize it. It does.
All right, Laura, thank you so much for coming in and talking with us. Why don't you tell everybody about your studios, where to find you, and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, Mega Barre Youngstown is in Poland on Western Reserve Road. We offer small group classes and also personal training and personal nutrition with me. And then I have a studio in Solon as well. So on-demand classes and Zoom as well. If you're too busy, you can Zoom in from home. We make it work for everybody. So
all right, Laura, thank you so much.
Thank you.